Hello, hello. Today is March 8th, 2023, and the word of the day is voice. And the card of the day is Eight of Swords. So, per usual, I will discuss the word of the day and I will go into the card of the day. So, when it comes to our voice carries a certain vibration and a certain tone that is picked up through the entire universe, like frequencies. And even though you may not think your voice is important, your voice is highly important. And what you say, how you speak. And I've always known this. And that's why I'm like so conscious of that when I speak. And I've always thought before I spoke. Even people, like as a child, I would always think before I spoke. And I don't know like where I picked that up from, but it's just probably like who I am. Like I came with that software in my mind. And even people, when they talk to me, they're like, you think before you talk. And I'm like, yeah, because I contemplate. And I contemplate a lot, what what something means because I I love clarity and I love being precise as much as possible because it's easy to get distracted by wrong information. And I mean, life is too short to be figuring out things that, following something and it's wrong. And so I like speed. And since we only have a certain amount of time here on earth, speed is very important to me, and a direct line to the truth or knowledge and having clarity allows me to take action. And so I'm going to come into this card, which is so interesting. By the way, I'm so sorry. Happy International Women's Day. I should have said that at the beginning. And this day is really, really important. And it's just that, like, I really forgot, like, where I came from and how far I've come and how far I have yet to go. It's like I get so stuck in my present moment that I forget to just take this day and celebrate the freedoms and the accomplishments and all the things that come along with being a woman and who I have become. And I am going to take a day, even though today's Women's Day, I am going to take a day, even though not today, because I kind of like passed me by. But I'm going to put it on my calendar to take a day to celebrate me. And I encourage you to do the same, to celebrate yourself as a woman and make it like a ritual, like a day for just you to acknowledge like all the things that you have become in this lifetime from where you started, and maybe contemplate the things that you have yet to become. And using my voice was something that I always really spoke my voice. Like I have always been a person who, like, I didn't care whether you liked it or not, I was going to say it. And the whole thing is after, and I said things because I was very rebellious. But what I realized is as I began to heal that there's a way to say things. And I'm still in the process of learning how to say things in a way that comes from a place of power and freedom and really blesses people's lives, and instead of like complicates them. And that takes a lot of introspection, and it takes a lot of looking at your own thoughts and really kind of blazing your own trail, unless you have someone who really is that model for you. And even if they are, you still have to develop your own way and your own voice. And so with this card, which is really interesting that it came up on Women's International Day or International Women's Day. I speak Arabic. And so like sometimes I switch my words around because Arabic goes from right to left and English goes from left to right. So my brain like it switches words. Anyways, so this card, when it came up, the first thing I thought was like, oh my God. And as the day progressed and I realized it was International Women's Day, there's many things that came to mind. And I will kind of go into that in a little bit. But I want to discuss the card and like what it means first. And so with this card, we have 8 of Swords. So 8 is really personal will and power, success. And if you look at this woman, you can see like there's a castle in the background. So behind her, that's her past. And if you look, she has a blindfold on. She can't see. And there's things like wrapped around her, like ties. And at the bottom of her feet, she has water. So when I started actually researching this card and thinking, what is this card wanting to tell me today? And I got like 2 different messages from this card. And when you look at swords throughout history, swords were given from a place of power, courage. They were symbolism of power, courage, honor. Like the queen did the sword tonight to make the person a knight. And there's some courage, but basically power. You can make the sword any positive word you would like to make it. And at the bottom, we have intuition. The water is intuition, emotions. You can trust your intuition and emotions, your feelings to tell you things. And your past, so this card denotes an air sign and basically has to do with the mind and your thoughts. So basically, even though you've walked away from your past, you're still bound perhaps by memories of the past, by ways of thinking that created this past, because thoughts create reality. Not that you're to blame for it. You're never to be blamed for, things that you went through in childhood. But as an adult, we have the power to heal our inner child and to heal the past. And it's our personal responsibility that will give us this freedom, which denotes to me these eight of swords. She can pick those up. These are metaphorical. And not only that, she can, if she wanted, she could just rub her body against the sword and it would cut the thing off, and she can take her blindfold off. And also, this is, so when a person has confidence, they are calm, right? They know that they know that they know that the answer is coming. So even though this person can't see their way forward, they can trust their intuition. They can be still. They can use her voice. She can use her voice, or he can use his voice. And he can undo the binds. And once he undoes the binds, which is like everything is around this person, the swords are the power that's really surrounding this person. And they can use those tools to create new thoughts, new visions, new dreams. They may not know how to dream. Maybe their whole life was, there's women in the world today that are living in complete bondage and have no way out and see no way out. And at one point, I was that woman. But today, my life is very different. And I've freed myself. However, there's always, this card came up for me to really examine my thoughts and my limiting beliefs, and what needs to be cleared out still in order for me to harness all the power of the swords: courage, honor, freedom, cutting. Even with angels, Archangel Michael, the cutting, uses a sword, knighting. And so there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and the power is within you to free yourself. You have everything you need to free yourself from whatever it is that's in your mind, even if you need to talk to someone. Because sometimes through our voice and when we are communicating to another person, this allows us to hear the kind of thought systems and beliefs that are really outdated and no longer serves us. So remember, thoughts create reality, and this card is really about our thoughts and our mind. But once all this comes off, you'll be freed from this past, because you're going to follow your intuition anyway, and you're going to have all these symbolisms that you can use, because now you can see how to use them. Instead of cutting you'll be able to use them in the symbolism that I mentioned earlier. So that's all I have today. Wherever you're at, I hope you're having a magnificent evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.